अजीब सा बंदा है, I don't understand, और कुछ होता नहीं है उसको, मुझे समझ नहीं आ रही है. My cravings are usually not so much the sweet stuff, but the salty stuff. Being honest with yourself, not creating some fictional character you think you should be. The second that I would start planning, my life would do a 360 change. You can't lie. And if you are lying, eventually you're going to get caught up in that lie and people are going to see right through you. I love India. I never want to move. I just sold my house in America. I never want to buy a house there ever again. And I love living here. I love being here. I never want to go back. I have no desires to go back at all. There's really nothing else that I have going on in that country. And a little ashamed of that country right now anyways.
Hello and welcome to History Hunt. My name is Sandeep. Right now I have with me someone who I really love, I adore, someone who's beautiful, sensuous, voluptuous, and absolutely gorgeous. The very, very, very beautiful and insanely brainy Sunny Leone. Hello, Sunny. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much. Sunny, as I said, before I began with the video, that it's been a long time since we last met. So how has life been treating you? The fact that we were all under lockdown for such a long time and, obviously you'll be shooting and all of that. But how has the entire thing been for you so far?
It's been amazing and difficult and all the emotions that every single person out there has felt over the last couple of years. I think that we all have had very similar feelings of this entire journey. And I think it's, just about close to the end of crazy. And then another crazy will start or has already started. And I think that, a lot of people suffered a lot during this time. Maybe I did not suffer as much as them, but my heart, all those people out there that lost so much during that time. So I thank God, I'm all good, didn't suffer from COVID, neither did my family, and I'm happy about that.
Right. Now, since you kind of spoke about your family, Sunny, go tell me something. Firstly, do you believe in destiny?
I do believe in destiny. I also believe in making your own destiny.
Right. The fact that, there are so many people, especially in Bollywood, in the industry for that matter, there are so many people who actually toil and they really work hard every day, day in, day out, but they don't really get that amount of success and the amount of, fame and adulation, perhaps the kind of fame and adulation that they crave for. So do you kind of feel that there is a little bit of the luck factor that is there as far as, making it really big in the industry?
I think that there's definitely some people who have luck on their side, for sure, right, being at the right place at the right time. But I also believe in hard work.
Absolutely.
I definitely am not one of those people that have gotten things.
I'm not driving at that at all. I'm not saying that you're lucky and you got the work because of the luck. No, it's not that.
But I mean, I think that there's a lot of people that where luck does play a factor. But I do believe in hard work. I think that hard work is the only way that you are going to succeed, especially in entertainment and when you are trying to develop something or learn something or become something that you've created in your mind that you want to become. And you have to do that with hard work.
Right. Sunny, whenever I talk to you, one thing that I'm really impressed and I'm really taken aback, I'd not say taken aback in a good way, by is the way you talk and the intelligence that you exude while you speak. I sometimes wonder that, in the industry, there are a very few actors and actresses who speak as intelligently and as eloquently and as candidly as you do. So, you've got to shed some light on, perhaps the workings of your mind, or perhaps when you're faced with a situation, for instance, that infamous interview. And how do you kind of handle such situations? How do you handle, I don't know, it's really impressive the way you speak. And I might be sapiosexual for that matter, because I just love your intelligence.
I think it comes down to, way of thinking or a way of life. I can't change people who are mean or rude. And then also, I think telling the truth helps. Being honest
Mhm.
with yourself, not creating some fictional character you think you should be. That is something that I learned at a very young age. You can't lie, and if you are lying or you are creating this person that you think you should be because of XYZ things you've seen online or that people have done, I think what happens is that eventually you're going to get caught up in that lie and people are going to see right through you. I think that our consumer is extremely intelligent, and we should see them that way as being intelligent, and they can see through the BS that some
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
spank out at us. And you're just wondering how certain things happen. So
Okay. Sunny, you have worked with a lot of big names in the industry, in Bollywood especially. What I mean, do you have any ambition as far as your film career is concerned, and or your the showbiz career is concerned? Do you have any perhaps a benchmark set there in your head somewhere, in the lofty corners of the universe of your head, for that matter?
I learned a long time ago that the second I start planning and saying, this is what I want, this is what I want to do, and there's like a general idea, which is to keep
Yeah,
moving every day as much as possible. But the second that I would start planning, my life would do a 360 change. And then I was like, what's the point of doing a 5-year plan when everything changed in 6 months into that 5-year plan to
absolutely.
360 into something else. I do believe in perseverance, hard work, and being dedicated, and you have to keep pushing forward. If you don't keep trying to figure out how you're going to get work or pursue it and keep working towards it, then it's not going to come to you. That ideal that has been set in a lot of young people's mind that well, I should just get the work like everybody else does. Well, that's not the way that it works. That's not the way life works.
Yes, yes.
You have to be persistent. You have to start at the bottom and you have to work your way up. And working your way up means putting in your time. When you put in your time and you put in your perseverance, at some point I do think that you will figure out what your path is supposed to truly be. And we can't set like a 5-year goal or a 1-year goal. You should, but if that doesn't happen, what are the other amazing things that happen within that 5
Yes, yes, absolutely. Sunny, you've been in the West. You've spent, I mean, obviously, a chunk of your life in the West, and then you've migrated to India. What are the main difference, and what I mean, if there are any constraints that matter as far as the mindset of people are concerned, and the kind of the day-to-day tasks that you are perhaps familiar doing over there in that part of the world, vis-a-vis to this part of the world, and also you started, I mean, in the industry. It's been a long time since you're there in the industry. What are the difference that you find as an actress or as a person for that matter in the industry and then it's your industry where people can see you and your opinions matter, whatever you say really matters, especially when the social media scene is proliferating this much. What are your, I mean, I asked a lot of questions in just one, but still, I'm getting confused now.
I have to remember it.
Yeah.
The first part of your question, the differences between here and America and liking living there, living here. I love India. I never want to move. I just sold my house in America. I never want to buy a house
You
there
did?
ever again. I don't want to be there at
You
all.
sold your house in America?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. That's a revelation to me.
Beyond happy that it's sold.
Okay.
And I am so happy that I've purchased a home here, and I love living here. I love being here. I never want to go back. I have no desires to go back at all. Maybe to visit my friends and my brother and my niece, but that's really about it. There's really nothing else that I have going on in that country. And a little ashamed of that country right now, anyways.
Okay. Okay.
So I think that I'm in the right place. I am happy where I am, and don't want to go back. As far as the industry goes, you said the differences.
Yes. The difference is vis-a-vis the time you were, I mean, beginning in the industry and you were trying to, get a foothold. And today, when everybody knows you, when your opinions matter, whatever you say on social media matters. And there's a little bit of, I mean, there's a lot of hullabaloo when you say anything for that matter. Sometimes it's taken out of the context and stuff like that. What are your, perhaps, what do you have to say about this entire shift for that matter? I'd say this entire, the shift.
I think that every actor, actress goes through this, which is just evolving after every year, evolving and growing and pursuing. I didn't just get here. I've been here for a while now. And in that evolving, so many different things have happened, and a lot of growth has happened. So how do I deal, or what are the differences? Obviously, everything is different. I didn't think I would own a house here. I didn't think I'd have a cosmetic company, clothing line, a production house. I never thought that I would be adopting a little girl from India. I never thought that I would be raising twin boys here. I didn't think that, my forever home, I never thought was going to be in Mumbai, obviously. So all those things in time changed for the better.
Right. Sunny, one question that I have to ask you is, when we are talking about, the fact that today how many years do you compete in the industry?
10.
It's a decade that you've competed in the industry. And obviously, the question that I was getting to is your fitness regime. Everybody literally emulates it. You keep on sharing videos and snaps of your fitness regime on social media. So you're going to tell me, what difference are there as far as the career is concerned, and what kind of cravings that you perhaps have to do away with and abrogate. I mean, for instance, if you see an ice cream, I don't know whether you crave ice cream or not, but I do. I mean, if I keeping your fitness thing in mindset and the fact that you've got to look a certain way for a certain role, what are the cravings that you perhaps have to abrogate?
My cravings are usually not so much the sweet stuff, but the salty stuff. Okay. I love sitting in front of the TV, watching one of my favorite shows, eating popcorn and a glass of wine. That's my favorite thing to do. But it's not always the greatest. I think that my cravings are just like everybody else's cravings for food and junk and all these things. Unless you're like my husband, who doesn't crave anything bad ever. He is.
You mean Daniel doesn't crave anything ever?
Ajeeb sa banda hai. I don't understand. He's like the exception to the rule. He eats clean chicken, vegetables, brown rice all the time. He eats fish, he eats all these healthy things. और कुछ होता नहीं है उसको, मुझे समझ नहीं आ रही है. This is like he only wants to eat healthy food, and then जब वो junk food खाता, वो उसके body में भी कुछ नहीं होता. मैं तो 10 pound, I gain all this weight. He's just sitting down, fit as ever, going, look at my muscles. Always walking around with no shirt on. He's always taking selfies with no shirt on. That's not the way life is. So as you can see, I am just like everybody else out there that has all these cravings and wants all this junk food. But I do exercise a lot. And one thing that I promised myself when my parents passed away was I would be as healthy as possible for my family. So that means, taking care of my body. And okay, I eat junk food sometimes, maybe a little bit too much sometimes, but my heart, I believe, is healthy. My body is healthy. I am strong. I'm fit. And, that's what matters the most, I think.
Right. Sunny, now I'm going to be sharing a very personal, an idea with you. The thing is, I personally, as a person, I don't quite believe in the institution of marriage. Now, the fact that you're married,
The audio's cut out. The audio is cut out. Your audio's
You went on mute.
okay.
Are you there? Hello?
Yes.
I cannot really see you, so
You can't see me?
yeah, I can see you now. I can see you now.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I was driving at is the fact that today you have a wonderful family. You've got a lovely and a very doting husband. You even adopted a girl child, for that matter. So, what is your entire viewpoint as far as this concept of a nuclear family is concerned? Because why I don't quite like the institution of marriage, because as we see in current times, the kind of times that we are in right now, uh, people don't really take much time before they stray. And there are tremendous, huge examples that matter even in popular culture. And especially, for instance, friends of mine, they plan for marriage and at the same time, they kind of tell me that, I don't really mind staying. I don't really, I won't, my wife won't know this and that. So I just want to understand, for a person like you who's so evolved in her mindset, and she speaks in such a wonderful, and eloquent, intelligent manner. What is your idea of the sacrament?
I missed the word that you used earlier. What is my view of?
What is your idea of the sacrament? I mean, the entire marriage institution, for that matter.
I think it's individual. I think that something that I have been teaching my children for a very long time, that every family is different. Some people have one mommy, some people have one daddy, some people have two daddies, some people have one mommy, two mommies. Some people have one mommy and one daddy. Our family has one mommy and one daddy, but my best friends have two mommies, and my best friends have two daddies, and they are a beautiful family. Or let's say one of the women who works for me, she is one mommy. And I think that when it comes to committing and you have children, this is the bigger question. If you have children, you have to do what is best for you and what you're happiest with. If you are happy being a single parent or a nuclear family or two mommies or two daddies, whichever it is, I think that you have to decide for yourself, and then you can have a happy family. And that's something that my family and we talk about all the time. Not on a daily basis, but when the subject comes up. So it's all based on the individual and based on what makes you happy. I think that when people get married because of reasons other than what it should be about, which is love.
Yes, absolutely.
Then we run into issues of so many different things. Women who don't want children that end up having children and then have to take care of them and are resentful. And I think the way for us not to be resentful is to live our life the way that we want. And we do live in a time where we have those choices. And you have the choice to be who you want to be. Maybe in some of the smaller towns in India, even in the US or any part of the world, maybe it's a little bit more difficult to voice that opinion. And maybe education, sexual education, or education about families and all these things would help as a younger, family. But that takes time. But in our metropolitan cities and everything, I believe that everybody does have a choice now, and all people should be accepted. And love it's genderless.
Absolutely. Sunny, now my final question to you is, especially with the proliferation of the web space and the OTT platforms for the matter, Amazon, you have Netflix, you have so many other OTT platforms. What is your take on the fact that especially films we were talking about alternate sexuality when we came up. There are many films that are addressing alternate sexuality. For instance, you have Chandigarh Kare Aashiki, which starred Ayushmann Khurrana and Ayushmann Khurrana in the lead role. In the film, the girl, I'm sorry, forgetting the name of the lead, Vani Kapoor, sorry. Vani Kapoor starred a girl who's, starred in the role of a girl who is a transsexual. And there was a lot of hullabaloo about the fact that, a real transsexual is not really used for the film. And why is that so and stuff like that? What is your take on that? And what exactly do you think? What do you make out of the entire portrayal of, a transsexual playing the role of a transsexual in the film? And is that justified or whatever?
I think that people should be able to play whatever role they want to in life. And whether they are and they've made that choice to transform and go through that process. Let me just remind everybody who is listening or watching, it is not easy. It is not an easy process to transform yourself into who you believe you are on the inside. That is a very, very different psychological topic that I don't think we can get into today, but
Yes.
it's physically difficult. It is emotionally difficult. It is a process that maybe that person believes they should have started a very, very long time ago, maybe when they were teenagers or maybe when they were younger. It is a person that is trapped inside of a body that they believe is not theirs, or whatever it is that goes through their head. It is not easy. So I think the first part, whether we see it in films or not, is to educate people on what it feels like, or, the discussion needs to be open within families of why is somebody a certain way, but it has to start when, the children are young, so that we don't have issues with any type of person, whether, whatever gender. I don't know how many there are now, but I believe that you should be able to be who you want to be and who you believe you are on the inside. So I know that process is extremely traumatizing and difficult, and emotionally, physically, psychologically. There's a lot more that goes into transforming. People just think that, they just transform, but that's not the case. The case is that's been going on emotionally, maybe all their lives, and they finally found freedom in seeing the body that they see from the inside.
Right. Sunny, before I end, there was the second part to my question which I completely missed out. It was that in whatever you had to say. What I was trying to drive at is, especially with the proliferation of OTT platforms and with the subjects that these films on the OTT deal with. We had a film based on Lavender Marriage, which starred Rajkumar Ram, Bhumika Pednekar in the lead roles. The one thing that really pisses me off, I don't really, have any qualms in using this language. It really pisses me off. The one thing that really irks me is, when we are talking about such, psychological subjects, as you said, and topics which are really, really harsh. Why do the characters surrounding? I mean, I've really asked this question to a lot of people. And trust me, no one could actually answer it properly. Everybody took a kind of a defensive kind of a side to the entire conversation, if you understand what I mean. I don't understand the usage of comedy. There are so many films in the West. I'm not talking precisely about Hollywood. I'm talking about films. You have Italian films. You have such master filmmakers. You have Bertolucci. You have Kiarostami. You have Mazud Mazidi. You have so many filmmakers for that matter. You have Wong Kar-wai in Hong Kong. There are so many filmmakers who have actually made lovely films on such topics, on alternate sexuality, on transitioning for that matter. But in India, whenever you have these heavy topics, they are surrounded with different, absolutely stupid motives of comedy. I do not understand the reason why. Why is that so? I mean, don't the directors, I mean, when you have the money, you know that you have the means to make good films. And films, especially in a country like ours, they really affect the minds of the viewers, the watching public. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand why this happens.
I think it comes down to fear. Maybe it's a fear of what their own insecurities is the best answer I could think of.
Mm-hmm.
It really just depends on, an individual's view of what that is, or maybe they're just afraid to address it the way that it should be. Or maybe the public is not ready to see it this way.
Yes, absolutely.
You've watched the films that you want to for certain reasons and you enjoyed them, but a viewer is not always searching for that because that's not something that's on their mind on a daily basis. But maybe it comes down to fear, maybe it comes down to their own phobias, maybe it comes down to the fact that they are also uncomfortable because
Embarrassed, yeah.
it's not a subject that is spoken about in an open way. So I think that once we get to that point where it's spoken about in an open way and it's not something that we need to be afraid of or uncomfortable with, or that, I don't know, makes you feel a certain way, then maybe then we can discuss the subject on a serious level. Or maybe there's a filmmaker out there that will discuss that subject and take it in a more serious way. I don't know. You'll have to ask those filmmakers.
Absolutely. Sunny, it was a lovely and a very enlightening and a very candid conversation with you. I loved every bit of it. I really wish Anupam,
Anamika! Anamika on MX Player.
Yeah. I really wish Anamika does really well and MX Player breaks all ratings just because of this lovely sensuous voluptuous, and I can just go on and on with the adjectives. Sunny Leone in it. Thank you so much. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you. Thanks. Have a nice day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.